You continue. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you where, now sometimes I forget and I don't, if they're short meetings, they're not very long. So I'm going to show you, and this will be part of the video too. Every meeting we have, I keep them recorded, and we save them to the Google Drive. No one else has access to them except if I give them access. So just remember that, John Louis. So don't worry. Don't tell McKenna. Anyways.
I won't.
Okay, so where I went is I went to shared drives. Okay. I go to the paperwork and then I go to estimating. And then if I go to estimating, I scroll all the way down and I have Megan and Saber's training videos. Okay. So if you click on this, now it's technically yours. So I'm going to rename this estimating. We're just going to call it estimating. Yeah. How do you spell estimate? I don't even know how to spell estimate. ESAT.
ESTIMATING, if I'm not mistaken.
You're a lawyer. You should learn. You should know how to spell, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to spell every single word.
That's
Don't,
close. Close enough. Okay. So
don't be
it's
fooled.
estimating training videos. So here you have a list of everything I went over. So this was actually all of McKenna and me when we'd have our meetings. We'd talk about certain stuff. Now, I don't know if they're really relevant, to be honest. Some of these were really long. So let me see. We'll click on this. Some of these were kind of long. And so they're an hour and 42 minutes. So I don't know if it's worth it to look at all of them. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And so you could go, but this I wouldn't spend a ton of time. I mean, if you wanted to, you could. But the main majority of the ones are this stuff right here. Okay. These ones that have actual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A title to it. So if you look, this should have actually been 2022. This was our last meeting. This was me and you. Okay. So I tried to tag you so you could see that. So you could, oh, hey, this is where it is. But this was me and you when we went over estimating training. Okay. So we went over some other stuff. Okay. So this is just where I've put all of our meetings where we want to find them. So I'll upload them here. Does that make sense? And then you can go back and look,
and I can
like a
look
window takeoff, you know what I mean? Verify the windows, trim and lumber meeting. Who is this one? This one could have been with Saber.
Yeah. I don't recall you doing windows with me. I think that might have been with Saber as well.
Who is I'm talking to? Yeah, this one's Saber. Huh. Anyway, so they're all in there, John Louis, to kind of help. Okay. So this one will, if you need to. Okay. So this is where I upload. So you're just under the estimating, you come to the paperwork and you're just under the file of estimating department. Then you just scroll all the way down. Okay.
Perfect.
And you've got estimating training videos right there. Okay.
Perfect.
So that'll be good. Okay. So,
Thanks,
all right. So if you want to go back and look and speed it up too, make sure you watch these things. Don't watch it on, speed them up. That's the one thing I like about videos is you can speed them up to 1.7. You know what I mean? So, and slow it down to the part you need or stuff like that. So anyways, use that. It'll help. So, okay. All right. So let's jump in. I want to talk. So let's jump in. First of all, with takeoffs, do you want to talk questions now, or do you want me to dive into it, John Louis?
You know what? Let's do the training, and then we can discuss all the, just to keep on track with everything. I think that would be best.
Okay. So, as I went, okay, so yesterday I needed to do a takeoff. I want to show you this, how I determine when I do my takeoffs and how they're needed. Is one thing that I have to do. I come here and you're going to, okay, how do I keep up with all this stuff? The first thing is to-dos, or to keep track of everything, I have to have to-dos. And so what I did is I went here and I said purchaser, because right now we don't have a purchaser. We're actually training you to do that. Okay. And so I should have assigned them to me/you. So if you look, all these to-dos are for the purchaser / me and you. Okay.
Okay.
So every now and then I'll assign them to you if I forget, but look at how, so I have siding. Now, siding, not that big a deal. Like we need to get it in, but we're 42 days out where it was due July 7th. You know what I mean? We've got
Mhm.
garage doors, decking. Actually, these ones don't need that big a deal, but siding. And here we had one that said interior trim because interior trim. So siding's kind of a big deal, but like windows. Did you guys do this, by the way? Did you do windows for R2? I feel like we did.
I did. Yes, I did. Windows for
I
R2
feel
are
like,
done.
remember, watch your comments too, because I'll put a comment. I'm like, I feel like we got this done. If done, mark it complete. So it is done because I felt
Perfect.
like you
So
emailed them, right?
a quick question I do have, Max. Sorry. So they've sent us the Windows list. I've gone through it. It's been up, but I haven't signed off on it yet. So
Follow
McKenna told
up
me
with them.
don't.
Yes.
Okay. She said
So
don't click complete until you've signed it and sent it
exactly,
back.
exactly. So, John Louis,
I'll follow up. Yeah.
follow up with them and then comment back to me because I want, you know what I mean? So you'll just say, "Hey Max, I'm still waiting to sign off." And I'm like, "Okay, good." You know what I mean? So
Yes.
then just follow up with them. That'll be great. Um, and we'll get, so this is how I kind of determine what do we need to take off. So fluorine's important, kind of, you know what I mean? These priorities, the reason why I'm in my head there, and I'll help you through this. We'll spend a little more time in training, but this helps me, John Louis, determine what do I need next. Well, interior trim was a big one for DC10. Notice how we have these ones, MV4. These ones are
Mm,
coming up
right.
because the reason why is they're 4 weeks out to get this stuff done. And if we need, we have to order this stuff to get it
Quick
in there.
question on that. Have you spoken to Bracken about that meeting he had with the Centurion guys?
Oh, I was just
I'd
on the
like to
phone with
discuss.
them. No, I did not. Did you ever find an email or anything about the people?
Well, they've emailed me yesterday. I haven't, and I wanted to discuss with you. It's just they wanted us to give them pricing. I know I can talk to McKenna about that.
Forward it on to me. Forward
Okay,
their
I can do
email,
that. I can do
John
that
Louis, and I'll
right
look at it.
now.
And I'm actually gonna head after this meeting. I'm gonna go to Davis Creek and I'll talk
Because
to
it
Bracken.
sounds like they're ready to move, like they said, listen, we want a job now. I mean, you just said interior trim's 4 weeks out. Like, if these people can start next week, then
Yeah,
there we
well,
there we go.
they could just be the installers, John Louis. If they're just installers, yeah, it's easy
Okay,
if you
sorry.
have all the
So
material.
it was a text message, but what I can do is I can send you their email as well.
Just forward it on to me. But are they installers or are they suppliers?
I think they're installers because
Okay,
from what I understand, yeah, they do interior trim and what was the other thing? They do two things as well. It wasn't
cabinets.
just cabinets. That's it. Yes,
Do they install the cabinets or do they provide the cabinets?
I'm not certain on that, Max. That
Okay.
you want me to send their email address
Find
as
out,
well?
find out, look in there and find out, John Louis. And these are kind of the parameters you need to know. So because these are the questions I'll ask. So I would ask them, be like, do you guys supply the cabinets or you just install them? And I bet 90% they're going to say, we just install them. And that's
Mhm, mhm.
great. I need guys like that, to be honest, John Louis, because I'm going to start going maybe a different direction of cabinets. Does that make sense? Like Rasmussen's been good to me, but at the
Yes.
same time, their pricing is going, it's kind of reaching, and we may set up to another cabinet company. So, okay.
Okay.
So this is just, we'll get more into this. We got to get you on takeoffs, but this is where I'll look and I'll say, Jean Louis, I need you to do a siding one right now. The reality is not really because I know the schedule. And how I know the schedule is I'll look and I'll go DC 10, DC 7. Where's DC 7 at? And I click on DC 7 and I'll click on their schedule because these to dos are tied to the schedule. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And so I look and I'm like, well, exterior side, we don't have windows for this. To be honest, our our siding guy, what's his face? Troy, he doesn't necessarily the make or break the siding. You know what I mean? Like it what I mean is if he got the PO on the 16th, it wouldn't be a big deal to him. Does that make sense? It doesn't slow him down. Now,
Right.
if we
Right.
gave the PO to Windows, 2 weeks, we'd be screwed because we're 8 weeks out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why priority, that's how the to dos, but we tried to give ourselves time, but now we're kind of playing catch up. So we kind of have to do our own priority. In a perfect world, we would have done all this, but we're kind of understaffed, so to speak. And not really, because it's not that big a deal, but we'll get there. So I want to, so this training, so that's a little bit. So DC 10 was one that I had to do a takeoff on, Jean-Louis. So DC 10, we've talked about the doors. Okay. We went over all the doors. We've talked about the trim, the casing. Okay. And then here's the headers of what we did. And then the shelving. We went over shelving, right?
Yes.
Okay. The next is handrail. Let's talk about this handrail. Okay. So the videos have got you kind of confused, so to speak, a little bit. But so this is the takeoff I did. I did real quick so I could get it done yesterday. This light is all my baseboard. When you do a takeoff for your handrail, we have certain ways of building the handrail. Let me see if I can get, okay. So the first thing to know about handrails is you always need a newel post at a corner. So you need one. So see how there's a green dot? There's one. You don't need one there. Technically, the architect drew that, but this wall will come over where this handrail will butt into that wall, so to speak. So you won't need one there. Okay. So for every corner, 1, 2, and then at the bottom right here, so 3. Okay. So you need 3 handrails. All right, let me pull up my pictures now, and I want to show you. Let's go to paperwork, the different types of handrails. So let's go here, interior design, then we'll go to design studio. Oh, what? Let's try selection photos. Perfect. Okay. Let's go here. Finish work, countertops, appliances. See anything that says finish work? Yeah, we'll use that one. Okay. So, okay, a baluster. Let's talk about balusters.
Yes.
Okay, balusters.
Hey, love.
Are you in the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, Cassie's here. I'm gonna bring her in. Is that okay?
Yeah, looks semi-neat. Sure. Sorry, Max. Yeah, she's bringing a friend in with her quick.
Okay, so Jean-Louis, these white things right here are called balusters. Okay? These white up and down. This is called a baluster.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good on yourself.
Good.
The spacing that we have to have between these cannot be greater than 4 inches to meet code. So that's why we divide it by 4 inches. Okay. And so, Jean-Louis, this, do you notice how you see up, see how this piece of wood goes up in this handrail there? You see that?
Yeah.
We call this handrail plowed. Okay, Jean-Louis. So the baluster will stick up inside the handrail so it doesn't move. Okay. And then right here is a piece of wood that we put in between that. Okay. And that's called a fillet, alder fillet. Okay. That keeps it from moving. Because how else would I be able to nail this baluster to keep it from moving?
I see.
Does
So
that make
basically,
sense?
the fillet is basically it. There holds inside. You just basically
Exactly.
slot the balusters in, right?
Exactly. It holds that.
Okay.
So then you can put a little tack nail and then you put these fillets in so that holds it. It's just a skinny piece. It's not very big, but it needs to be of alder. Okay. So you have your handrail that's plowed. Okay. This is a plowed handrail.
So when you say plowed, it's basically like
They
carpentry goes and
carve
they
it
just
out. They carve
Okay.
out wood so this baluster can fit inside there.
I
Is
see.
when we say
I see.
plowed. Okay. So that's so let's go see if I have another picture that gives another example. So these are balusters, but these are metal ones, Jean-Louis. Okay. They're metal ones.
And those are the ones you use shoes on, correct?
Just a sec. Someone is here.
Hey, love. How was it? You scared? Oh.
Sounds like what? Sorry, John Louis.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so
the metal balusters have shoes. Is that correct?
okay, so yeah, well, real quick. So wood, okay. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more, see how much I can do. Okay, notice right here. Now, we talked about the top, okay? It's plowed, meaning it's carved out, so you can stick the baluster inside there. Okay, see, and this newel post right here, this type of newel, there's different types of newel posts, John Louis. Some have carvings in them. Oh, I should have showed you at our design studio. But this newel post, this looking newel post, is the standard newel post that I always want to use, unless Lori tells us otherwise, you know. But this is this newel post. It's called a 5-inch box newel post. Okay. All right. So then what we used to do, see how there's a piece of wood right here? Okay. This wide piece. This is the 1x8 alder that we have to have. What? A pen? Why? Okay.
What do you call that? What do you call that piece of wood?
We just call it a 1x8 alder. That's they come in 10-foot lengths. There's no there's no specific term, I guess we call it. Because if you call it a shoe, this thing right here where my cursor is, this is actually called a shoe. Okay. So there's different styles of building this. So there's another piece that we'd call it the bottom shoe. Okay. And see how the fillet right there is in between that. So you have not only the fillet up here, but then you have a bottom shoe that's plowed that has fillet in between. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect.
But we don't build that way anymore. Hey, Duke.
Is your son?
Yeah, my little boy. Yeah. You're helping mom at the office? Okay. Yeah. Okay, go help mom, okay? Be good, okay? Good luck. Thank you. Bye. Come and see me when you leave.
To be a dad. Man, you're
pretty fun, John Louis.
I know.
Despite what Zach says. No, just kidding. Okay, so John Louis, this piece, this is just old school way that I used to do it. I think it looks nice, but it's added material, it's added time. The carpenters don't like doing it. So this piece they eliminate, okay? And instead we use what we call a dowel screw. Let me see if I can see this. A dowel screw baluster. So what they are, they look just like this, okay? And what it means is, because I don't have a bottom piece to hold my my baluster. Do you see this picture here?
Yeah.
You screw that in and it holds it. So now I don't have that piece of fillet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And actually the reality is we don't do it for metal balusters. You just make a hole big enough where this sits down. Now you can do this, but if I make a hole, then I have to have a shoe to cover that hole up. Now this is one way to do it, but most carpenters like the shoes like this. You see that shoe? So it covers a big hole that you made so it slides down in. So then these shoes just make it look nice and neat. Okay. So that's what dowel screws are. So that's what we do now with the wood balusters. So we have the fillet on top. Okay. So we have the fillet here. This is a plowed handrail if it's wood. Okay. And then we have the fillet there. But then on the bottom, instead of this piece, we just have screws. So we'd have a screw there, screw there, screw there. Okay. So we don't have that piece, but we still have to order this 1x8. Okay. This 1x8 that everything sits on. Okay. So that's why you saw me measure it twice. I don't know.
Yeah. That was probably what it was.
But then there's another piece right here that we've got to think of to cover in the trim. Now this one, we used another piece of alder. In reality, we just use another piece of casing. That's why we order, a little bit of extra casing, because they'll just put it in right there. Okay, John Louis.
Okay.
So we just have to remember all these parts. But see the skirt board. Remember you asked what the skirt board was? Do you see this white thing right there?
Yeah.
That is what a skirt board is. It's a 1x12.
So the question I have is, does that make part of the rest of the skirting in the house?
This is a separate piece of just a 1x12 that they cut and they slide in between the stairs.
Okay.
John Louis. So it's part of the stairing, you know what I mean? It's just another piece of material we have to order. Does that make sense? It's not necessarily part of the railing, but it is, because notice how this sits on top of the skirt board. Do you know what I mean? So you need it when you finish.
No, it makes sense. I'm seeing it now and explain like that. You know, you said it's a 1x12. You know, it's specifically just for the stairs. Yeah.
So, and the reason why we use a 1x8 alder, notice how there's a little bit of reveal, because this is a 5-inch newel post. If I used a 1x6, John Louis, it wouldn't be wide enough. It would look stupid. We wouldn't have a reveal like that. We want these little reveals, like right here, there's a reveal, just so it looks clean. If it was flush, it would look dumb, you know what I mean? Or if it was too short. So that's why we do that.
Makes sense, yeah.
So all these parts, okay, so that is a wood. Okay, so you have, when you order, you've got, so when you go to selections and you go, you know what I mean, where she says, come here, and we go to interior trim, and it says railing, we have handrail notes, and she'll say 5-inch newel post, but then she says a metal railing. So these are metal when they have this metal. So we don't have to have a plowed handrail on top. Okay, so it's not, there's not as many parts to the handrail if it's wood. Okay. I mean, if it's metal, if it's wood, we have more parts. Okay. So now what we do, okay, so we've talked about that. So this is wood. Okay. We started with the hardest one because there's more parts. You have a plowed handrail and you have wood fillet. Okay. And then you have your wood balusters. Okay. So then, and then we got to remember the 1x8. Now we've eliminated this so it's easier. So it's not as, you know what I mean? We don't have all that many parts.
And you used to call that what, the shoe casing?
We called that the shoe. It was called the shoe base. So
pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yes. So then the last thing of this railing, you see there's another railing right here
in the back. Yeah.
That one doesn't need to be plowed. It doesn't need to be carved out because we're not sticking anything into it, or we're not, you know what I mean? It's just a normal handrail. So you have to order a non-plowed, because if not, you'd have this open thing underneath your handrail. It looks stupid. So you have to remember, then you have to order a handrail that goes there, down there. So anyway, so keep that in mind when we're doing these. Okay.
Okay.
So here's a picture then, John Louis, of a metal handrail. Notice the newel post. See how it's a 5-inch, that same style newel post. Now look at, oh, you can't see. See these metals? These are the shoes. We call metal shoes. Okay. Notice though, these are flat. This is all flat right here, Jean Louis. Look
when you say
over.
Flat, what do you say flat?
A flat shoe, meaning there's no slope. Now, if we look over here, do you see these angles?
Yes.
Now these are angled, so this is important. If you just order all flat, it wouldn't work here because they're not angled like this. So that's why I have to measure from here to there, the measurement. And then say it's 6 feet. So I take 6 feet times 12, gives me my inches. 6 times 12 is 72. Divide it by 4, 18. So I need 18 of these shoes.
But I remember on the training video, it wouldn't be 16 because it's sloped. So wouldn't you take that into consideration as well?
So yeah, so say we measured it with the slope and it's, you know, 6 feet, so it bumped it up to 7 feet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it wouldn't be much of a difference.
Yeah, not a ton, but you have that angled measurement already built into your calculation. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So then you'd count. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't see it. 7, 8, 9, 10. So then you'd say, when you order this, you'd say, I need 18 sloped and I need 25 flat is what you have to do.
Correct.
If it's a metal handrail. Okay. So notice, so this is how the flat piece, this is the 1x8 alder, Jean Louis. This is what it'd look like if we had wood. Okay, we don't have that shoe on the bottom. They'd just be like this, and we dowel them in. They'd be dowel screws. Okay, and so that's how. But then here, notice this handrail doesn't have to be plowed. okay? Because it's metal. If they're metal, they just drill into a solid piece of alder into this. So they just drill inside it. So you don't have to worry about it being plowed, okay? So this would be non-plowed, 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 okay?
Perfect.
So that is all the parts. So you have the newel post, the handrail, the balusters, the shoes, and then the trim piece of 1x8 that sits on the bottom like this. Okay. See how this handrail right here, they've made it.
That's for the steps at the bottom, right?
There, yeah, exactly. They're going to use that. So this piece and this piece right here are the exact same. They're the same pieces. So it keeps it all simple. But if we use wood, we got to have a carved out underneath the piece. Okay. So let me see if I can get a better picture. We call it loud handrail. Let's see. See this? Do you see that? That's what I mean by plowed. They carved that out right there. It's actually more than that. But see that piece right there? That's the fillet, John Louis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And there's that bottom shoe right there.
That's a
fillet.
perfect, that's a perfect example there.
Okay, but this is kind of old school way. This is what I was brought. I think it looks clean, but anyways, that's what it is.
No, I think, I mean, I would build a house and I'd opt for that for certain. I mean, that's really nice. Yeah, so the metal railings are so much simpler. I mean,
yeah, a little bit. I mean, they're all kind of once you get to see the pictures, but notice, see how they have a newel post at a corner and a newel post there. So we have two, and see how this comes into the wall right there. This piece right here is called a rosette. We call that a rosette. And it's just a piece of alder block that we need to use to install. Now, sometimes the guys, the finished carpenters, if they have leftover 1x8, they'll take that and just cut it themselves and make a piece right there. Okay.
Okay, I see.
But
so that's the question I had. I mean, I was like, well, it's on the takeoffs. Do you order it or whatever? And I was like, well,
I would try if you can.
Sense.
I would try if you can. You'd order a rosette there, and you'd order. You can't see this one, but there's a rosette where the cursor's there.
How do you go about ordering a rosette? I mean, is it what is it? Like the measurements? You just say rosette? Do they
you just say, I just need
and...
one alder rosette, and the guys at the shop know what it is, and they're like, okay. They'll either ask you, do you want it square or chamfered? And you're just like, I want a square.
And usually with handrails, so you'll have one this side, but there'll also be one on the other side for the
whenever the handrail. So the rule of thumb, wherever a handrail goes into a wall, exactly.
Right.
So that's where, and the purpose of a newel post is to keep the handrail sturdy. You know what I mean? So you have to, if there's nothing, it's floating. You have to build, a post to keep it, upright. So yeah, that's kind of how you have to think about it. But okay, so that is metal. Now we're getting into different types. Sometimes she will ask for like a metal handrail by some metal guys that we have to call, like DC2 that you walk through was built by a metal guy. Notice there's no newel post. There is a newel post. It's this thicker one, but it's a metal rail. And then they put a wood cap on top of it, like we did at DC2. See if I can find some pictures of DC2. And the reason why they're just different styles, John Louis. It's just different.
Such as preferences by the homeowners,
exactly,
or potential homeowners,
exactly, or it's what our interior designer has decided. Okay. And so, let's see if I can get to there. It is. Boom. Okay, so look at this. So notice. So this metal handrail, so we have this bothers me because they did a 4-inch newel post. I like 5-inch. This is a 4-inch newel post. And Saber didn't know how to order. She would just put the order in and let the guys determine what to do. Does that make sense? So it really kind of ticked me off. I want 5-inch newel post. There's not much of a difference. But so we still had the newel post. We still had the trim piece. But then the metal guy came in and did the balusters, so to speak, okay? But then we still had to order a piece of handrail that's plowed to sit on top of this metal rail. Do you see that? But look
so if you mind me asking, why is it plowed if it's a metal handrail?
Why is it what?
Why is it plowed if it's a metal handrail?
So the plowed part can fit over, and how do you fasten it onto the metal handrail?
Okay.
So it sits on there so you can glue it and fit it in there. Okay.
Okay.
So then that metal fits in right in there, so we can glue it so it's not just floating. Does that make
Okay.
sense? So it has
Yeah.
a piece that it can stop. We did
Right,
this
right.
contemporary too, just like this. There's different types of handrail too, John Louis. There's the flat or the bread loaf. We don't, this is old. No one uses these anymore. This one or this one. But most of them either use this one or our standard one that looks like, man, they have a lot of butt old pictures. Gosh, this one right here. This is those are the typical ones we always use, unless we use a square piece like this. Okay, sometimes we'll do a square one like that. So those are the 3 standard ones we do, John Louis. And if you're ever confused about, you know what I mean, you can always just ask me too.
I think I did see the different shapes you use. I think there were only 2,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So, okay, so with this handrail, okay, so we had to have 2 different guys do this. We had to have a finished carpenter who installed the newel post, the 1x6, the down here, the handrail that goes all the way down there. Notice how I don't have a rosette there. That was our kind of our bad. We didn't really need one. You don't have to have it. It's not bad, but I kind of like to, when it's painted, it's not a big deal to actually, because you can, these are painted, okay? So it's not a big deal. But this guy, so we had to call the steel guy come in, then we still had to have these parts for the handrail. Okay, this one's a little but in the newel post. So these are just different styles that we have to do. And where you find those is you have to go to selections. Now, when it says something like this, it is just a traditional newel post that's like let's go to here and let's go. It's just a traditional newel post that looks like DC2, but it has, let's see if I got the handrail. So this, oh, not DC2, I mean DC3. Looks like, oh, see, this was a wood one. See the wood one, this they put a shoe on the bottom. They don't like to do that. They got mad at me for that. But notice how I put a newel post here. I had to put one here, and there was a corner. I had to put one there. I didn't want to, but I had to because there would be floating. I could have maybe got away with it, but then from this distance from here to there wouldn't have worked. So I had to put a newel post here, and then it died in. Notice there's no rosette.
Yeah,
I forgot to order one. Now, it would have been nicer if I would have had one, but we didn't. So it's not the end of the world, John Louis, but it's better that we have it. Okay. So anyways, so let's see. So this handrail is just like our, let's see, Christensen home. Let's see if we have one for this. This shows the handrail. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, I remember this home. Wow. This home was intense. Now that's a wood one.
Are you meaning that in a positive way or a negative way? Or?
No, it's good. They're just weird. They were weird people, but it's good. Man, I forget all the homes we've built. I'm trying to look for a metal handrail.
How many, just for interest's sake, how many have you built?
I can't remember. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot, John Louis.
That's good.
I'm looking for the handrail. That one's wood. I usually try to talk people into wood, but what's her name likes to do?
What is the best option, wood or metal?
I like wood, but it's just preference at this point. Structural.
Is it more of a modern type thing that people
modern
like
is steel? Metal? Yeah, modern's the metal, but I'm not a huge fan of metal because I think I like timeless stuff. Okay, so this is a good one. Okay, so this one shows. Whoa, will it go the right way? Yeah. Oh, perfect. So this one is actually what she's calling for. Okay. This home right here, it has a white newel post, it's painted, and a white handrail. This handrail has the black metal balusters. Okay. So that's the one that we're ordering, so to speak. So when you look at this one, this is exactly what she wants. But the difference though, John Louis, is she asked for a plain half-inch square. If you look at this picture, those are not half-inch. Those are thick. They're called mega balusters. And if we don't order them correctly, you know what I mean? They'll look off. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So anyways, that's what we'll be ordering there. Okay. So that's the different types of handrails. There's all types of them. They have, this one's that same, but it's not cut off at the top. This is just the normal handrail. So we order that. So, okay. So now that we understand the pictures and stuff behind it, now let's order some. Okay. So what we'll do.
Yeah.
So we've come here. Here we have our set of plans. Notice there's that one picture, John, that had a lip. And this would be a good one. Let's actually go to DC 31, because this is the exact same home, but we're doing a different type of handrail. This would be a good refresher. So, oh, this lady does such a better job with pictures. Okay. Notice on this picture, zoom in here. Do you see how this handrail dives in? Kind of dives in, kind of doesn't stick in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that looks.
In this newel post, this is a butt ugly newel post. I hate this newel post. I'm like, who picked that out? It pissed me off. See, look at that. See how this doesn't have it plowed right there? That's non-plowed. So that's
how it should be. That's how it should be.
Look at the lip that we have right here. Okay, so we have this lip. So what we have to do, so when we look at the plans, so now it's all coming, you're seeing that's that lip they're talking about. So we've got to decide, either I've got to make a comment in the plans and tell my superintendent, hey, make sure to bring that wall over so I can butt my handrail into it. If they don't, then we need to order a newel post, because I don't want it to look like that. I don't want this weird half, you know what I mean? It worked. Does that make sense? But
yeah, it works, but it doesn't look,
it doesn't look very clean. So in this case, if they're just like, well, it doesn't look, I would have put we call it a half newel post. So these newel posts, they build them because they're 5 inches. They build them so you can cut them so for situations like this. So it makes it look like a newel post, but it's into the wall, and it looks really cool. It looks clean. Let's see if I can find it, a picture of it, and it looks really good. And we call it a 5-inch half newel post. Let's see. This is a good picture one. See how that's built into the wall? It's not a full. Yeah. Does that make sense? That's what I'm saying. A half, and it looks clean. Now they could have just used
Is that also just preference on how people want it? Is that what it comes down to? Okay.
It's preference, and they could have just used a rosette here. But in our situation, we were at a corner, you know what I mean? And it takes a really good carpenter to fix that. Like here's another, it's a half newel post if they want that look. And to me, I really like that instead of a dinky little rosette. You know what I mean? Like this, they just did a rosette. Does that make sense? Like what we would do. Just depends on preference and how much money we want to make. But see how this one, because it's fancy, they put a nice half.
Really nice.
So that's what, so what I would do in this instance is we would make sure we'd put a note, a red line on these plans. We're going to say, hey, make sure the wall is framed out so the handrail has something to butt into. If not, we have to order a half newel post. So you make that comment and you put those plans, you upload it like I showed you. So then the super's looking at this and we're framing, they're like, oh, okay. Now where this home is already framed, okay, you're going to have to communicate to Bracken, and you're going to have to ask Bracken, I'm ordering the interior trim. Are we going to have to get a half newel post? Like what's going to happen right there? Or do I need a full newel post? Do I have enough room to put a full one like the plans show? And so that's where we have to ask the guys in the field where you're not there. Now I'm going to go over there today. That's why I'm actually going today, because I want to figure this out. I want to know what's going on. So anyways, okay. So there's just things we just have to kind of pick up and see.
I'll shoot through an email to Bracken and then, find out from him as well.
Yeah. Okay. So we ordered, so I measured. So this blue one, my blue line, this is my flat alder piece. Okay. I took my flat alder piece here, and then another 1x8 here.
That's the one. Okay, 1x8. Okay.
This is the 1x8. Okay. Now, the reason why I don't measure another line for balusters is because I have my linear foot. That's all I need to know.
Right.
And then I have my sloped one right there, which is my sloped angle, because right now, if I were to measure this from here to there, it would say like 5 feet. But
Right.
because we're at a slope, it measures, 6'3". So I always round up. So this would be 5, 7, 4. Okay. 4
Or
feet.
are you going to be measuring the slope on the other side of the stairs, the one that goes down to the basement? Not those ones, because you've already measured. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I won't measure anything here because I'm not going to put anything there except for my
On the
handrail. But
yes.
because experience, I know I'm not going to measure it because I know a 16-footer, you can cut it in half. An 8-footer will work there and an 8-footer will work there.
Okay.
So I don't
Yeah.
measure it because I already know they come in 16-foot lengths that are in stock. Now,
Right.
handrails can be custom made, John Louis. I can make a custom handrail 22 feet long, but then that takes time and it's not in stock. So everything they have in stock is at 16 feet. So we just say, I just need one 16-footer because we'll cut
Okay.
one there and we'll cut one there and not a big
Okay.
deal. But
Well,
that's
that's another question I have to ask. So, in terms of building with these steps, are they always the same amount? Like, do all the building plans have 13 steps? Let me ask you that.
usually, sometimes they'll have 14, John Louis, but for the
Okay.
most part, yes, they will have about 13 steps.
So that's just how you know
Because
16 feet for
well,
a step.
and how I know too is if I have this right there, that's that same measurement right there. Okay.
Mhm.
So I know that's 6 feet. It's under 8 feet. And if I know that's under 8 feet, that means I can cut and put one there and the same amount is right there. Does that make, so that's how I
Yeah.
would
Yeah. Yeah.
know. Oh, that's the best, you know what I mean? But that's just me, just with the experience, I just know that I put that in there. So I didn't even measure. But notice how I have a 1x8 here, 1x8 here. Now what this one is actually a 1x6. So if I click on there, so I have a 1x6. Because I don't need a 1x8 as thick as this, because see, do you see this though? This is what I want to point out. This is an actual 1x6. She ordered the wrong material.
I
I told
saw
her.
that. Yeah.
See how it's flush? It doesn't
Yeah.
look as
And
clean. Does
right.
that make sense? So we
Yes.
want it
Yes.
clean. I want a little bit of reveal. That looks stupid. So this is a 1x6. So, but what I'm ordering, so I ordered a 1x8 from here to there, from here to there. I need probably about two. Well, our other plans don't. This shows a half wall. Our other plans just show a railing. So if you look, see how this wall wasn't there. And so I want this
Yes, I
all
see.
railing. Okay. So anyways, these are just different style, Jean Louis. And so anyways, so I measured for my 1x8, you know what I mean, from here. But here they don't need a 1x8. You only need like a 1x4 or a 1x6 that they can rip. So I just bought one 1x6 there. Okay. And notice
Okay.
how the piece of base just stands on there. And then we have a piece of trim piece right here that we put underneath. Okay. So that's how it would turn out to be. Okay. So
that is, sorry, just a question. The top of the trim piece and the bottom, is that from the same piece of wood, or do you order that separately?
you order that. This is a piece of casing right here. So if
Okay,
you
okay,
look
okay,
and you
okay.
were to measure, they just took this piece of casing, put it underneath there. They put this piece of base.
Got you,
They
got
just
you.
carried. So they are two different pieces. So, but the reality is this is kind of the stuff that we use as a waste factor. You don't necessarily need to measure it. You could if you wanted to, but you would just, you know what I mean? This would be used as a waste. But no, it's there. So if you're short, you can. So if I started to see that I'm short, John Louis, I'll be like, oh, you know why? Because I'm not measuring this. You know what I mean? And stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's where we have to know. But notice too, look at these balusters are doweled in. There's no bottom shoe. You see that? But this is
Yeah.
a plowed handrail underneath. This one's plowed. This one's non-plowed. But and then this is the typical. But I hate this no post. Don't ever buy this no post. That is but ugly. Oh, anyways. Okay, so I've measured, so I just measured this. Okay. I've measured the linear foot. I measured this and I just did the 1x6. All their pieces, the longest piece you can get is a 10-footer. And so notice this says 11 feet, it's 12 feet. I'm not gonna, because I know the width isn't thicker than, 4 inches. I can rip it and still use my 10-footer over here. So I don't need to order two, John Louis. So I'm just going to order one. Okay. So what we do is we take these measurements. Okay. So now I've taken all these measurements and I put it in here. So, but notice though, for DC 10, If I look under selections for DC10 now, she's doing, I don't know if I like her selection choice. It's all right. I guess I'll talk to her later. But she's doing a lot of this painted stuff. Oh, she's changed it. Okay, I like it. I like it. Never mind. Dang it. Okay. They look similar, but they're not. But anyways, it throws me off. Okay. So she's called for a 5-inch newel post, box newel post. Okay. And it needs to be painted. Now it's different. So when I order from Wheelwright, I'm going to call up Chris, or you email him and I say, Chris, I want a newel post, our standard 5-inch newel post, and it needs to be painted. Because if I say alder, everything's always done in alder in our handrails. But if I paint stuff, it needs to be changed to the type of material. This is so all I said to him is that I'm going to paint this newel post so it doesn't, I don't want knots in it. I don't want holes, because alder has like holes and it makes it look, I think it looks rustic when you stain it, but when you paint it, it looks like it's a mistake. So you don't want that. So this is very important. You order a newel post that's paint grade material. Okay. So then they know.
So is that the type of wood? So alder is the
Yes,
actual
they will
wood? Okay.
send the type of wood. Now it's up to them what type of wood they want to send John Louis. It could be, usually they call it they'll either send out birch, they'll send out poplar. Usually it's poplar or it's a piece of MDF. I don't know, but as long as you're just telling them I need a 5-inch newel post that matches the same style as our other ones, that doesn't have knots in it, the holes, they'll send it out. They'll know what you're talking about. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
So I had 3 there. So I had 3. My modern handrail. So when I say modern, that means that I cut that handrail that's half cut. Modern handrail. I mean, you can get different types of, if you want a different stain, you want hickory, stuff like that. You can do hickory, walnut. There's just different types of, but for the most part, we always use alder, unless she specifies it in the selection saying, I want a oak handrail, which reminds me of the 80s and 90s. So don't do that. That's gross. She does that. If she says oak handrail, please contact me.
Making another
Because I don't
right
ever
now.
want an oak handrail. Anyways, okay, so we know the type of handrail. So we said a modern handrail. Notice how this is cut off. It's went like took a saw. The other type of handrail is this traditional one that looks like this. Oh, that's but ugly. We don't use that one at all. Wow, I thought they would. That's what everybody calls it different. So we just have to make sure. Let's see if the Midwest one. Wow, they're ugly. Let's just use the right one. RWG. RW Supply. So this is who Wheelwright buys from, Jean Louis. They buy all their special stuff. So write this down. It's RW Specialties. Okay. So if you're not on the same page, if it seems like Wheelwright's like, I don't know what newel post, or if you've told them 5-inch standard box newel post, and they're still sending us like that picture and be like, dude, I ordered specifically our 5-inch one that I said that was standard. And Chris may be getting mixed up, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. So you'd have to get on this catalog and say, well, dude, this is what be like on the RSW catalog. I want this newel post right there, a 5-inch by 52. He calls it MX552. If you were to tell him that, he would automatically know, because that's who they order from. Because notice how there's different types of newel posts. They have this one, the 4290. This is, sometimes she'll call this one out. This is a popular, a 4994. Okay.
Can you sorry, next, just the previous one. What is the previous one tag? What's it called?
This one right here?
No, the previous one, top right.
This one. This is our standard one, MX552.
MX552.
Notice too how it comes in naughty alder. We have alder, we have maple, and primed. Okay, primed means paint. You're gonna paint it. Do you see how there's no knots in this?
Correct.
It's just clear. Look at, if you look here, there's some knots in there. Sometimes there'll be a hole. because it's knotty alder, it's wood. You know what I mean? But we don't want that when
Yes.
we paint stuff because it'll look like a mistake. So this is the catalog, RW Specialties, okay? If you ever want to make sure, you know what I mean? We want to
Yes.
make sure we get this. And so anyways, and then they'll send, but this is what we go off of. Now,
I mean, I can copy and paste the pictures as well when I order it
yep,
as well.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely you can. When you do those orders, you can send that email and be like, this is the one I want, MX552, and you copy and paste this and put it in that purchase order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, so, but notice, don't order this one. This is the same one, but it's 4-inch. I don't want a 4-inch one. Look at the cost difference, okay? I'm paying for 4.5, $324, 447. I'm paying 20 bucks more for a better looking handrail. It just looks cleaner. It's better, John Louis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So look at your baluster shoes. Look at, there's flat versus angled. Okay.
Right.
There's your flat versus angled. They have others. Sometimes she'll call out she wants a basket or stuff like this, or, you know, flat back. You know, there's so many different types. You just need to make sure that you're ordering what she put in that selection. If there's ever a question, just call me, let me know. But look
Okay.
at the standard newel post that we always use. These two right here. This one is the same as this one. Okay. These two are the same.
Hand railing, you mean standard hand
These are the
rail
standard handrails that we use right here. Are these ones right here?
is the okay.
These ones right now. The P stands for plowed, by the way. So technically, you're only looking at two different types. I have never installed, the only one I have installed, this one. We do those, but I've never, these are old. These remind me of when I was a kid, when I worked with my dad. We don't use those anymore, but it's always these ones right here. Okay.
Good memories.
Nah, it's just weird. Just okay. What's wrong, Millie? Okay, just come sit here and relax for a minute. Don't go fight. Okay. So John Louis, the last thing that I want you to see. So look at, you got your bottom shoes right there with the fillet. So anyways, we don't use those as much, but okay. So this piece right here, notice this is just a simple standard ugly handrail. Okay. Now, sometimes when we build a home, I'm going to show you a home. When we do, I'm going to show you DC7 will be a good example. Okay. When you're doing a takeoff, and there is a, so to speak, there'll be a door right here. If there was a door and this was all unfinished, notice how this doesn't have, it's a door and we're going to have to finish it. So we'll have to put a nice handrail. This has no handrail,
Okay.
but it doesn't have like balusters and newel posts, but you still got to order a handrail here. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if the door was closed here and this was all unfinished, we would use this type of handrail. We call it a pine round handrail is what we'd call it. And so it's cheap, it's easy, but it meets code, because code you have to have, you know, grippable handrail when you do. This doesn't meet code, by the way. That's funny. Anyways, don't worry about that. Okay, so here though, we would order a nice handrail because we're finishing it. So what we would do is order a non-plowed handrail, which would be, I would order this one, a 16-footer, and then you're good. Okay. But this is the type of handrail. But this catalog is kind of going to be your Bible if you order from Wheelwright. Okay. But if we change a supplier, which we could do in the future, all you have to do is take this picture and say, tell me what you call this newel post right here. And they'll say, well, we call that a FF231. You're like, perfect. That's the newel post I want. Don't send me this shitty newel. Oh, sorry. Anyways, this crappy newel post. So, do you know what I mean? And Saber wouldn't check that. She wouldn't do that, and it drove me nuts. I'm like, come on, girl. So, anyways, okay. All right. So, with that being said, that's your different types. So we go back to our thing here. We go back to our interior trim. So we've measured our newel post. We make sure we call it out right. Okay, we've measured it all. So now let me show you my takeoff. So my takeoff, I've put in 3, and I need a non-plowed modern handrail because that's what she wanted in the selections. Let's shrink this down. I'll show you too. Because if you look under selections, she wanted a 5-inch newel post. It's painted, so I got to remember it's painted. And look at the modern. I click on it, see how it's cut off. Oh, shiz. Crap. She wanted that. I ordered the wrong
What is
thing.
this? Like steel and wood, like a hybrid.
She wanted, she's calling out this, which is actually, this sucks. I gotta call him back now. She wanted this handrail that looks like this. Boom. This 6002. That's what she wanted. I'm like, really? That's ugly. Okay. So I thought she wanted this, John Louis. She actually wanted this piece. So I even made a mistake. Now, to be honest, if we're out in the field, this would matter if this was a homeowner that picked this, okay? Where this is a spec, not a big deal, but we need to make sure it's done right. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to call Chris and ask him to change this out for this type of handrail, okay? Great. Okay, fine. So anyways, so that was the selection. I thought she was just calling a modern flat, but she wants that. Ugh. Anyways, don't agree with it, but she's the designer and it's okay. We'll move on. Okay, so I figured all this. We've got all the measurements now. So that's where I got it. I downloaded, you know what I mean? How you download your totals and stuff. That's where I got that. So come here. So I just put one because they come in 16-foot lengths. So I just need one. Because if I looked at my total linear feet, my linear footage told me it was, you know what I mean? It wasn't over 16. And so then I need another one that's plowed. Then my painted balusters, I needed 39 of them. Okay, then there's my 1x8 10-footer. I needed 2 of those because I was over 10 feet. Now this 1x6, I was technically over 10 feet, but I knew I could rip it and I'd be okay. So I just ordered one. Now here's the skirt boards that we talked about. They're just 1x12, 16-footers. You always just need 2. What that means is I didn't measure them because I already know. You need one there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So so one 12-footer would do one set, and then the other 12-footer would do that.
With the other one.
So you have a total of 24 feet. Do you know what I mean? But you're ordering 2. That's how you come up with that. I didn't measure it because that's what this one is for. This already shows me I need a 6-footer, a 6-footer. You know what I mean? And I need
6-footer.
So it's usually in most of your homes, you always need 2. That's kind of a rule of thumb. Even like I come here, look at this. There's 14 steps. Notice I said there's 14, sometimes 13. You just need 2. 1, 2. You see that? So now if it's over, say I had
sorry, Max, 1 sec. So we need handrails on both sides of the wall.
No, not handrails, skirt boards.
Oh,
I need a skirt board. We're talking skirt board. I only need one handrail.
Apologies.
On one side. You are correct, and we need just one. But I'm talking the
skirt board,
which is this one that I was shrink down. This one right here. We were talking this piece. Okay.
Perfect.
So then I had handrail brackets. Okay, my brackets. Do you know what that is? When I say handrail brackets,
that's what attaches the handrails to the wall.
Exactly. Okay. This stuff right here, Jean Louis. So typically for this, if you don't know, send out a couple. You know what I mean? If you have a couple, it doesn't hurt to have a couple extra. They're $3 a piece. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a little more than not enough. And then the guys will accumulate, and then they'll send you a message saying, "Don't buy any more handrails." But you got to match the color of this. And this is one thing hopefully I've taught you. But so usually you need, for like this home, you'll need 1, 2, 1, 2. So you need 4. Okay. They're spread out, about 6 feet apart, the brackets. 6 to 5 feet apart is how you spread them apart. Okay. Now, if I were to doing this home, I have a 16-footer. I'd go 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, John Louis, just to be safe. So just do 4. You know what I mean? If you do 3, not a big deal. We can run and go get one if we run out, but at least you had, you know what I mean?
Right.
The biggest thing is at least they have 2, and then our supers can hurry and install it. The rest of them, it's a little easier.
Right.
But if they don't have any, then the guys are going to be pissed. So, but the color. Now, this is one thing I taught you. When you're ordering interior trim, the doors, the first question they're going to ask is, what color are the hinges? What color is those, handrail brackets? What color is that going to be? And where you find it is you've got to go to your hardware And if you're hardware, we always match the doors. We always match the door hardware. So if it says interior trim, now in the bath it says satin nickel. That is the color we're going with. So we would order
Okay, so everything throughout the entire room would be
exactly
satin nickel.
everything matches. We do the satin nickel.
Okay.
This is the
Very
brand.
simple. Very
This
simple.
nickel right there. Okay.
Got it.
So you'll match all that. Now, be careful when you do look at your selection. Sometimes she will pick a front door that is a different color than what the rest of the house is. That is not a mistake. That is some design that she does do.
So
Not very
basically
often.
saying don't go off the front door.
Don't go off the front door. Now,
Okay.
this one it matches. That's fine. Okay. But there are some homes that she will change that she does not include, a front door hardware. So just a heads up with that. Okay.
Perfect.
So, okay. So that's how we pick the color of the handrail too. If you forgot, you know what I mean? When you're ordering all this, you'd pick that. So again, so I just picked 4 and then dowel screws. Okay. The screws that hold those, you just match to what you have right there. Okay.
Perfect.
Now, when I was talking to Chris, when I ordered this material, Chris will ask you questions that I don't have in here. He asked me how many angled, when we order the wood, he asked me how many angled balusters are there, because they order taller wood balusters that are primed versus that are flat. And I was like, oh crap. So what I did is I took my measurement. I had 7 feet. I times 7 feet times, get my inches. I needed 18. So I said I need 18 that are angled. So this is angled. Cap loves don't do that. And this is flat. They like to know that, because what we've done in the past is we just ordered all angled and they're more expensive. So we're trying to dial our costs in, Jean-Louis.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? So what we would do is I'd add something in there, but I just did this off to the side. So anyways, okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So now that this is all done, we've done our takeoffs. The last thing that we have is a mudroom cubby. Basically, a mudroom cubby, you need 1 sheet of MDF.
Okay, what is that? I have no idea what a mudroom cubby is.
Let me show you. See if I can find a picture. Right there.
Okay, is this the room that comes from the garage? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay.
Just a mudroom cubby. So what that means is we just buy a 4x8 sheet of, it's a sheet of MDF. We don't know. This is like building cabinets. We don't know until you get out there and measure how wide or how all the parts. So it's just easier for us to say, here's a 3/4 piece of MDF. Carpenters, you rip it and take it in and make it into this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's all we're saying is we're just going to order a 4x8 sheet, 3/4 inch piece of, so we go 4x8 sheet MDF 3/4. There's different types. We'll just order 3/4 MDF and it looks like this.
Perfect.
And then they just rip it and they create what they need to, Jean-Louis. So, okay. So that's the last, every one of our homes should have it in the plans, should have something in there that has some kind of mudroom cubby. This, it doesn't show, but that's like a standard feature that we always put in our homes. So it'd go right here. Okay. Or you see this dotted line, that kind of what represents that.
Okay.
So you just throw it in there unless you hear something special from me and be like, oh, okay, I won't do that. Okay.
Perfect.
So now that we've done that, we got all this done. We did all our measurements. We've got all our stuff. Now I'm ready to make a phone call. Okay. I make a phone call to Wheelwright Lumber, whoever's right now, it's Wheelwright Lumber. So I make a call. And so I made a call yesterday and I talked to him. The things you have to know that you can always put notes in instead of flipping back and forth. What style of door is this? What color are the hinges? You know what I mean? We already know. You know what I mean? I've looked at it. I know it's the Craftsman 3-panel. I know it's, the satin nickel. I have all my answers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I usually have this tab open, same thing, and I make the phone call. I have this one. If you wanted to, you could put notes in here and you could say the Craftsman 3-panel, or when you write up your email, you can attach those pictures, which I strongly recommend so there is no disconnect.
Yes.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that makes perfect sense, right?
So anyway, so I went in, I ordered all this from him. I'm going to have to change my order. But then I got an email back from him. Where's my email? Got an email back. Whoa, I got a million messages. Okay. Let's go. I'm getting sidetracked. I read these and I'm like, ooh, what is this? Ooh, what is this? Right here, scroll down right here. So he should be sending us an email. I'll try to get you on this list, but see, he said DC10 interior finish. Hey, just a sec. We'll ask mom in just a sec. Okay. All right. So notice how it has it all in here and I can verify this. This is the other part that gets a little hard. Yeah, and go ask mom. Go ask mom. You need to get water or Gatorade, Duke, not a Mountain Dew. Okay, so John Louis, notice it's broken out kind of funky. Bye. See you in a sec. Okay. We have to double check to make sure they ordered the right stuff. Okay.
Right.
So notice they group them together. So an exterior door, notice how there's different components to it. He'll end the list.
Yes. I know Susie did go through this with me.
Okay, cool. So you understood.
Because I was like, why the heck is it all like broken up? But it's for each and every single door.
So you just check. You say, okay, he ordered 7, 2 4 doors. They don't tell you the hinge on this, keep in mind. But as long as he orders the doors. Now, one thing that I've got to go check and do too now is I'm pretty sure some of these doors have to be cut down. That's another reason why I'm driving out there. It's because I think Bracken, he should have let me know, but he didn't. But anyways, this is just more complex. You know what I mean? They kind of break it out, but all you have to do is just make sure right door. And then this is just the kit that goes with it and stuff. Okay. If you have questions, we can get in that more, but you're just verifying, did he order the right stuff? So I asked for 1x12. Oh, look at that. He only ordered 1. I wanted 2. So I got to call him back on that. The ding dong. Anyways, I ordered 20 feet. See how they come in 10-foot lengths only? So I ordered, give me 20 feet, it's 2 10-footers. There's my 1x6. There's my fillet. This is my fillet for the up. This is the stuff that goes in the plowed because I asked for, and this is what PLD means, a plowed all their handrail. There's 16-footer. He just matches that. That's right. Okay, come down. There's the fillet. There's another fillet. I don't know why he ordered so much fillet, but that's fine. I guess that'll work. It's not that much, but that'll be okay. There's my, there's the MX522 primed newel post. Boom. Love it. We're ordering the right stuff. There's my primed balusters because we're painting the balusters. I have 18 that are flat and I have 21 that are angled. Okay. The good thing, if you order a couple extra angled, we can always use it to the flat, John Louis. Okay. Keep that in mind. But we can't use the smaller ones for the angled ones. Okay. So anyways, there's my baluster screws. Here's my particle board that I asked for. Here's my hook strip. They come in 16-footers, but they charge us by the linear foot. That's what they put in. There's my handrail brackets I asked for satin nickel. There's 4 of them right there. He gave me a bundle of shingles. I didn't order that necessarily. They don't need shims, but they're good to have. There's my casing, 34s, 17s, good. There we got. There's more of my casing there. There's my baseboard. There's my header and my delivery. There we go.
Cool.
And so I just double checked that real quick and I said, okay, there's the order. Now, the part that we need to figure out or fix that has been kind of shitty, I guess you could say, is the PO systems, John Louis. Real quickly, because of time, we're not going to get to it. But eventually, my end goal, what I want to do is we have that same database that they just emailed us all this in our system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want this all in our catalog. So then all we have to do is our POs match, but we have to update our pricing, and Chelsea needs to be on that. But we've got to get these into our system. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So for now, John Louis, because we're playing catch up, I just want you. I mean, you can try to tackle it if you want, but this is the best for right now. We need to get this. So, and you know better than anybody else because you had to fix all of Saber's stuff, interior trim. All I did was just go, you know what I mean? I just put in interior trim. This is the price. Here's the invoice. That's it. You know,
right.
The time it took to spend to do all that catalog, it'll be worth it in the end.
I
But
agree.
right now, no.
Right. No, I agree.
Does that make sense? But
No,
here
it
you
makes
could put your
perfect
pictures
sense.
in. Here you could do all your, you know what I mean, put all the detail if you wanted to email. But I find it a lot easier just to order it from Chris
Okay.
on the phone. Now, if you don't want to order it from Chris, you can have McKenna or me. But the time consuming stuff that takes the longest is measuring all this stuff. So this is the hardest part. So right now we're focusing you on this. Now, if you feel comfortable calling or putting this in an email so he understands, perfect. I mean, heck, all you have to do if you wanted to, you could just take this and
Copy
copy
and
it.
paste and put it on there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're
For
pasting
now, I
pictures.
think that would be the best thing to do. But yeah, eventually we'll get to that stage where you can.
But that's what I like talking to Chris too, because it's nice to get info from him too down the road that you build a relationship, number one, with them. They like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just I don't know. There's just a lot of info. Like I ask him, how far out are we, Chris? And he'll say, oh, we're running about 3 weeks. So that's good. And I said, the last thing that you want to tell him is a delivery date. When do we want that delivered? And so if you look on here, entry date, he should have put a delivery date in there for me. I don't think he did. But he puts a note in somewhere that the delivery date is going to be, you know what I mean? We deliver. He'll have a note in there.
Usually does. Yeah. I've seen that on the
No.
invoices.
So anyways, but no, that works. So that is the handrail. Okay.
Perfect.
John Louis, it's a party. So that's all of it. So with that being said, do you have any questions?
No, I understand fully. I needed that. That's all I can say. But I'm on board. I might text you as I,
For sure.
put out the orders
it.
before I send it out, just to confirm everything a few times. Might
Yep.
just have to babysit me once or twice just to make sure, I don't want to waste your time, your money, but
Yep.
I can do that. But yeah, for handrails, that's it. I do have a few other questions, but when we're done, I can ask you about that.
So, okay, so let's go here. So yeah, John Louis, that is the handrail. I don't have anything else. Just the fact now that you've kind of gone through all your training. Okay, now that you've gone through that, interior trim's kind of the last. We'll go through other stuff too if we need to. But now what we need to start doing, me and you, is we've got to knocking out these to-do lists. We've got to start saying, okay, I come here, I'm going to go to here and purchaser. So you're going to do the same. Anything that's assigned to you or purchaser. This is the next stuff that we need. Does that make sense? Like,
yes,
we need to do a siding PO for DC7. We need to do one for. Now I had you start on MV3 just to get it all done, which is great. But notice how MV3 is down here. We should have already had it done. So we need to start knocking these out. Okay, we need to start now doing these. If you have questions with the garage door or stuff like that, then you just talk to me. POs for garage doors don't really work because Colonial Building Supply sucks, but we can get into that. But these ones aren't a big deal, and I'll put a note on there if you're like, Max, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, hey, let's hold off. Let's work on. So right now, the ones we need to really work on are windows. Make sure we follow up with that. Siding, yeah, that's kind of important. We need to do siding. I'm going to skip over. We need probably one for siding here. Flooring's another one we haven't really gone over. Electrical, we need to make sure we have these. PO siding. There's a lot of siding rock. We just need to start getting these ones, but lumber's a big one I need to do on that one, John Louis. And so we just need to start looking at this, but like the main ones I'm more concerned about is interior trim because it takes more time. These ones are easy and we can get them fast. The
Right.
stuff that takes a while is interior trim, exterior doors, interior trim.
Another question I have, sorry, Max. I
windows.
see the assigned to the right there. Do you want me to also make sure that someone's assigned to it? Because I know when you assign people, they receive emails to know that, they can put in a bid for that or.
Say that again. What?
Okay, sorry. So to the right, you see where it says assigned to. So you
Yeah.
have siding and rebar. That needs to be assigned to whoever, correct?
That'd be assigned to me or you. Mostly it should be assigned to you.
Okay, I see what's going on. I see.
So I'm going to do that right now. You need to make sure you order rebar. So I'm going to assign this to
correct.
you. And so, okay. And then rebar, McKenna. So yeah, so I keep a purchaser too, just to make sure I'm aware of it as well. And I'll kind of put myself. So if you're not comfortable with getting that PO done, put me and you on it together. So if you're like,
Okay.
dude, I don't know how to do lumber, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
that's one thing I'll leave to you for a while.
Put both of us on there, so I can help you with it. I'll follow up, I'll comment, just like I did with the windows. Hey, I feel like we did this, you know what I mean? Then you just respond back to me and be like, yeah, we did. I'm just waiting for a signature, so stuff like that. And so
I can do that.
but this is so when you search it though, John Louis, just make sure you put your name and purchaser. So then we're not missing stuff. Because if you just put your name on there, because I haven't assigned them to you. I didn't know how ready you were. I didn't know. So now you're entering that phase of I'm ready, so to speak.
Yeah.
You're still going to need work. We're going to work through it. There's going to be, but now you're ready to kind of try to tackle it. Hey, this is what I try to do.
Exactly. No,
because if I just put McKenna, if I just put that, notice how none of those come up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You have all this other stuff. You have some things, but not all of them. But you know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. And we'll just try to clean these up. But okay.
Perfect.
All right, Jean Louis. I don't have anything else. Do you have any other questions?
Just one question before we leave. I know you sent an email with regards to the garage floors to be epoxied.
Oh yes,
and
yes.
You did give me the details of someone who does it for you as well.
Yes. So do
you want those specific people? But you also mentioned maybe to look for someone else and just compare.
So this is what you're going to do. Your first person you're going to talk to is Paul with PC Concrete. Send him a picture and tell him which job. He knows where it is and be like, hey, how much would it cost to epoxy this floor? I'd rather have him do it because he could get on it. He knows about it. He could get to it. Okay. But we need a backup guy. So you need to find someone, Jean Louis, that's a backup.
I was going to ask you on that. I don't know if you're aware, but I think McKenna has told you her brother-in-law does epoxy as well.
Perfect. Get him. I don't care who it is.
Shoot out. I can talk to him. I get along with him pretty well, so maybe we can get a good price. Who knows?
Epoxy. How you spell epoxy? Yes. So definitely talk to him. There should be somewhere in here. Epoxy. Epoxy. Nothing. I don't have anything here. Huh. Well, we can look. So let's at least find one other guy. So talk to him and see. But we'll need that fairly quick. Okay. So
I will get on that.
To do. So that one will be kind of quick, but yes. So, and you can show them a picture of the floor. If they ask, they'll say, well, how many square feet is it, Jean Louis? You know how to do that, right?
I do, yeah.
If someone knows, all you do is you just take a measurement, you take your area tool, and you just say it's that many square feet, and they'll be like, okay, you know what I mean? Or they'll say I'm $5 a square foot, so then you have to calculate it, and then you'll be like, yeah. But I think your best bet may be Paul, and see what Paul says.
I'll talk to him. I'll get into it with him, and then just to get another price or whatever, I'll ask.
But get that brother-in-law, dude. And they do different types, so that'd be good too. So anyways, okay.
Awesome.
Okay, Jean Louis, I'll put this link on there so you can have this. That should be it for now. Rock and roll.
Thanks, okay, I'll get to those to-dos for you as well, and get all the most important things when you get done.
Okay, man. Thank you, John
Have a
Louis.
good weekend.
You
Thank you
too.
for everything, Max. Okay.
Okay.
We'll meet next week.
We'll meet on Monday, so we're gonna meet on
Monday.
Monday. But that meeting's more of a calendar subs stuff like that. So let's
Perfect.
meet on Monday, and then we'll probably meet on Tuesday to kind of go over some more takeoff stuff, kind of go over these to-dos and stuff like that. So
Perfect.
anyways,
Perfect.
but let's plan on Monday at 8:30. Okay, John Louis. It should be on the
Perfect.
calendar already. But anyways, okay.
Perfect.
All righty, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.